and welcome. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's special council. Just a reminder, everybody, as you obviously have heard, town council meeting is recorded and will appear on our YouTube channel. So those wishing to speak are advised that their image will be captured. Please can I ask the members of the public to turn off their cameras and microphones unless speaking during item 1 as well. Excellent. So we'll start off with public question time. At this particular moment, questions should be short and only relate to matters on the agenda. Otherwise, they can be reviewed. If any questions, please reply or pass the appropriate chair of committee. If a reply cannot be given on the night, we can advise what we sent in writing. And we should have an email address for anybody that asks a question that are on Zoom. Can I ask if there's anybody who'd like to ask a question tonight? Yeah. Sue.
Hello, my name's Sue Bass. I spoke to Stephen Barnett at the weekend and I've come just to raise the question. I know I shouldn't make a statement. I know I can't ask more than one question, but very briefly setting it in context. I've been in contact with the police commissioner about Sussex Safe Spaces because the list that was given out before Christmas was incorrect and I corrected them. And there's a resurgence of Sussex Safe Spaces. My question is, do the town councillors know about Sussex Safe Spaces? And I'm sure the town clerk probably does. And some subsidiary to that is, could mention of the Sussex Safe Spaces be made in the next line magazine that you send out?
Yes.
Is that sufficient?
Absolutely. No, that's perfect. Thank you very much. Sue's name is Bass, by the way. I think it was a former councillor, Liz Bennett, who put this initiative forward. But I think it would be good to get a refresher of the places that are available to people. So I'll ask Town Clerk to put that list together and publish it. And yes, I think it's a great idea to mention it in my magazine. Would anybody else like to ask any questions? Yes, sir.
So my question, sorry, Alex. My question is relating to item 2 and 6 on the agenda. At the last council meeting, I asked the mayor if the council would make an apology for labelling me a vexatious bully in light of the Information Commission ruling that my Freedom of Information Act request was not vexatious. And the mayor advised that because the ICO had not instructed that the apology to be met is to be made, he therefore wouldn't be doing so. I have since spoken to the Information Commissioner, who has advised that the Commission has no powers to require the Council to issue an apology. To me, this feels like an injustice and has continued to cause me a great deal of upset. Would the Mayor reconsider his previous response and now apologise for the Council's remarks? Or if not, could he provide a reason why and provide some advice on how I can escalate the matter, please?
Yeah, so thank you very much for your question. At this moment in time, I won't ask that question, but we'll get the Town Clerk to respond to you in writing in due course. That'd be great. Thank you. Okay, would anybody else like to ask any questions? Yes. Can I have your name?
My name is Stephen Jones. I live in East Grinstead. So this does relate to item 6, disposing of outstanding business, because it has been raised before. So my question is, would the mayor consider meeting with myself so that we could discuss and explain our position and why we are opposed to that organisation?
I won't answer that question, but I will get back to you. That's okay, Mr. Jones. Have you got contact details for the Town Clerk?
I can certainly provide them.
That's fine. If you don't mind, I'll do that.
Yes, thank you very much.
Anybody else have any questions? Okay, let's. Mr. Wade, would you have any questions?
Yes, may I ask one? Sorry, can you hear me okay?
Absolutely, yes. Well, yes, please ask your question.
Perfect. So I'd just like to ask, given concerns raised
Thank you very much for your question. But it's not on the agenda, so I'm afraid I can't answer that question. If you want to write in, that's perfectly acceptable, and we'll get back to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Item number 1 on the agenda is apologies for absence. We've received apologies from councillors Mrs. Belsey and Councillor Whittaker. I would like those, and Councillor Scott, beg your pardon. Late announcements. I'd like to ask the committee to accept those apologies for absence, please.
Accepted.
Item number 2 is to confirm the minutes of the Town Council meeting held on the 7th of October. I'd like to approve those for accuracy. Can I have a second, please? Happy to. Very much. Does anybody have any comments with regard to those minutes? All those in favour of acceptance? Thank you very much. Item number 3 is to receive any declarations of personal or pecuniary interest. Do you have any declarations? Councillor Gibson.
Just to say that I'm a member of Mid Sussex District Council and a cabinet member there.
Thank you very much. Has everybody else? No? Okay. Item number 4 is the town mayor's announcements. We have got a couple of things, really just a brief report on what's been going on for me over the last few months. And also we have a cheque giving opportunity for some of our local clubs within the town who have received some money, grant money from the Eastminster Town Council. I'll briefly just go over my report, and then we'll get all of our clubs together and have a photographic opportunity for them to put on all of their socials. Over the past couple of months, I've had the privilege of attending a number of wonderful events that highlight the strength of our community and the dedication of our volunteers. In October, I'm very lucky to travel to Mindlesheim, who celebrated their 45th year of twinning. And that's also a testament to the enduring friendships between our towns. November brought our moving Remembrance Parade. We were honoured by the presence of the Duchess of Norfolk as well, who joined us to pay tribute to those who sacrificed so much. December was a busy and festive time for East Grinstead. Despite the challenging weather, we had 2 superstars, Kane and Oscar, who brought Christmas lights to life. And if you remember, those were 2 young boys that collected about 37 kilograms of rubbish over one weekend in the summer. They were our light switcher honours at the big reveal, which was a huge success. And also, I must say, congratulations to everyone involved for delivering a successful Christmas market, again in less than ideal conditions. A last-minute change of venue from the London Road to Glenview, and I'll thank Glenview as well for their accommodation for the market. But we saw. I was lucky enough actually to go to an atmospheric carol service at Sackville College, and also attended the East Grinstead Food Bank's Christmas bag pack, where we packed 200 bags of food and support for families in the area. There was also more recently the Lions Senior Tea Party, which was a huge success, and it was another shining example of community kindness and providing joy and connection for our older residents. And just one last one, I was honoured to cheer on James Cooper as he finished the finish line of his 366th consecutive marathon. It makes me go into a sweat just actually reading that, which is a remarkable achievement actually, and embodies perseverance and passion from a really committed young man. Each of these events, Council, reminded me how fortunate we are to live in a town filled with incredible people and volunteers whose efforts make East Grinstead not just beautiful but truly special. So I want to thank everybody and all of the others I couldn't mention, otherwise I'll be here for at least an hour and a half. So thank you today. Next we have some representatives of some sporting clubs and organisations within the town who are receiving a grant. I wondered actually it would be good if I could ask them to each stand up and just say who you are, really, if that's all right, and then we'll stand and present the cheque as one big group of you, if that's all right. If I could start with.
Yeah, my name's Tim Draper from KSN Judo Club. I'm chairman and one of the coaches of the club. And we're very grateful for your donations to the club. It's going to really help us reach to the community and provide more space for sessions for young people. And people of all ages.
Yes.
I'm Jeff Border, president of East Grinstead Cricket Club, and we're really grateful for the cheque, and we've got a lot of initiatives on this year with the junior players.
Yes.
And this cheque will go towards that. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Cheers.
Oh,
Yep.
I've been assessors with junior football club, very poor club. So we're very grateful. Thank you very much.
Everybody does. Yes.
Graham Radley, president of the Farming and Science Cycling Club. We're very grateful to Town Council for this grant. 3 years ago, we started a girls section. Up until now, they've been playing softball cricket. Next season, the older girls will be playing hardball cricket. So this kind grant will go to buying the appropriate equipment. That's nice, etc.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening, Richard Tremonton, Chairman of East Grinstead Town Football Club. Again, thanks very much, as the others have said, for the grant. We're going to use it towards starting another youth team. East Grinstead Town Football Club is probably the best kept secret, I think, in East Grinstead.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Yes.
Gabrielle Baldwin from East Grinstead Swim Club. I'm incredibly grateful. We've been battling with the diving block situation at King Centre, so we're going to use it to find other facilities for our teams to practice, particularly things like relay takeovers is something we can't currently do at King Centre.
Fantastic. Thank you. Great. Okay. So we have a resident photographer in the house, which is great. I've asked everybody just to come over there where Ray is. And then we can also stand up.
He'll still be there. Oh, yeah.
I'm the young.
Begin to read through these.
Thank you very much.
We've left chairs now.
Yes, it is. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Lots to discuss.
If anybody else would like to leave, the meeting is more than that, apart from councillors. It's so great actually that we can support organisations in the town, and we all know that money gets very well spent. Okay. So that's item number 4.
Yeah.
Item number 5 is to receive communications from the leader of the council. So I'm going to hand over to Councillor Farron to speak on any communications you may have for us.
Thank you, Town Mayor. You'll be pleased to know it's not a long list. But I just thought I'd give a quick update so that everyone gets to hear. The Margaret's Loop, we have finally managed to track down and get time for the next investigation, which is great news. That's another step forward with that one. It seems to be one step forward, 2 steps back, but we are creeping in there now. So that for us is really, really good news. A step backwards, unfortunately, is Queen's Road Cemetery. The Badgers are very determined, and if you thought there was one left, there's actually, they seem to have gone. So that is going back to committee to discuss that, which is sad, but it is where we are. Heard from Guinness Trust, I know everyone's been waiting to find out the plot of land they broke ground with for building the bottom of Blackwell Hollow. They are just waiting to sign with the new contractors. So that they're hoping to do next month, and that really does mean next week. We're into February, so we're coming on. So hopefully that will get underway fairly soon and start looking like a piece of totally unloved land. Really, just to have, you know, the word at the moment is devolution. Just to let you know that West Sussex East Sussex have applied to be one of the first lots to go. What that means for us is a little unsure yet. It won't affect us as we stand. However, it may give us more responsibility in the future, but we are on time scale for this, and we are still looking probably a year or two down the line. So certainly for this administration, I'm not sure that we'll actually feel or see much difference, but it is out there for West Sussex. And finally, really, seeing as this is, you know, to put the budget and do the standard orders and everything, I'd just like to thank all of you for actually conducting yourself in the way we should be conducting ourselves. Thanks to the officers for all their work, and also the decision process that we've been going along the way and what we've achieved, and the budget, because the budget is a really good budget, and it was really well communicated, I felt, and discussed. And so I thank you all for your participation in that, and the officers for acting so quickly on changes and things that we've asked along the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Brown. Yes, I'd like to echo that sentiment at the end there to say thank you to Mr. Chambers and Sam for the time part to all the work they did for that. Thank you, Councillor Brown. Okay, sorry. Item number 6 is to dispose of any business outstanding from the last meeting. There's nothing to note, so I'll just ask for everybody to note that, please.
Noted.
Item number 7 is to receive and consider the minutes of our committees. We'll start off with planning first, please, followed by ENST, then public services, then AT, and finally finance and general policy. So we'll start off with Councillor Gibbs.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. Don't think I've seen you this year, all of you anyway. Amazingly, it's still January. Few updates to run through from planning. These have all been circulated, but it seems worth running through them very briefly for the benefit of members. So first of all, the town clerk had a communications meeting last Thursday where the subject of the new NPPF framework, which has been culminated at the end of last year, so is now in place. And a few of the salient points from that as to how it will affect us is that the MSDC are no longer deemed to have a 5-year land supply, which obviously is a concern because this will leave us open to potential speculative applications, which could drastically change the types of applications and the locations of applications that we get coming forward. So it's imperative that we keep an eye on that, really, because that will fundamentally impact how we run through the applications at forthcoming planning meetings. What else? In turn, the emphasis is now going to be on, the weight is going to be on new housing applications being erring on the side of approval for new developments, for new housing developments, which means that there'll be more onus on the district plan for us as a means of mitigating. The district plan itself at the minute is in the hands of the inspector, which we're waiting to see if we can move to stage 2. However, the inspector, I believe, has indicated that the housing numbers aren't quite sufficient enough, and so this might have to be reviewed, and this might take a good part of the year to actually go through. So that's where we are on that, on a very brief level. On a more positive note, the old police station application, I think I got the numbers right. We are expecting £19,014 to be made available with regards to S1, S6 money. So we are looking at suggestions on where may be a good areas to use that money. I believe St Margaret's Loop has been mentioned by the town mayor, I think. You suggested St Margaret's Loop? Was asked them?
Yes.
Yes. But any more suggestions, please do bring them forward to the town clerk before the end of the month, for those to be looked at. And the last bit, S106 generally, I believe there is a new S106 officer at the district council, and I think we'll be looking at having some kind of discussion with them when they're in post about what S106 can do for us specifically. So watch this space on that one. And in terms of applications themselves, Oakfield Way, the land adjacent to the Queen Victoria Hospital, came to committee last month. Was it last month? It was last month, and that was approved. I wasn't recommended approval. I wasn't at the meeting and declared interest anyway, but I thank Councillor Pond for taking that one for me on the night. And SA20, which is land west of Inbourne Lane, is due to go to District Council on the 13th of February. And I believe there'll probably be a discussion about that application at planning next week. I think that's all from me. Does anyone have any questions?
Councillor Gibson, I asked you to approve your minutes.
Absolutely, yes. I was going to. Did you want me to do that before the rest of it? Or? I was going to do that at the end. No, I haven't forgotten. I promise. I will do that now. Okay, right. Yeah, I didn't want to turn this into a planning meeting. I do apologise. The minutes dated. What I would like us to approve the minutes, the recorded minutes for the 9th of October 2024, page numbers 85 to 89, minute numbers 171 to 177. The 28th of October 2024, page numbers 90 to 95, minute numbers 178 to 185. The 18th of November 2024, page numbers 96 to 102, minute numbers 186 to 191. The 9th of December 2024, page numbers 113 to 114, minute numbers 214 to 220, and finally the 6th of January 25, page numbers 124 to 125, minute numbers 254 to 261. If we could approve those, please.
Yeah, second, please.
That's a good idea. Thank you very much, Councillor. I will forget that. Thank you.
Does anybody have any comments with regards to those minutes? All those in favour of approval? Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Next is the environmental sustainable travel. That's me. Okay. So, I would like to propose the minutes from the Environmental and Sustainable Travel Committee on the 28th of November. Page numbers 103 to 106, minutes 292 to 202, and also on block in the Environment and Sustainable Travel Committee on the 9th of January, page numbers 130 to 131, minutes 270 to 273. May I have a second for that, please?
I'm happy to second that.
Thank you. Karen, does anybody have any comments for that? No? All those in favour? Thank you very much. And next is public sector.
Lovely, thank you. I'd like to propose the minutes of the meetings, the Public Service Committee meeting on the 5th of the 12th, 2024, pages number 107 to 112, minutes number 203 to 213, and the committee on the 9th of 2025, pages number 126 to 127, and minutes 262 to 265. Could I ask for a second?
I'm happy to second.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Does anybody have any comments? Those in favour? Very much. Thanks. That's agreed. Next is amenities and tourism. That's the people.
Thank you, Chairman. Before I start, I've got the two key things from the committee. The leader has explained. No, St Margaret's Loop and Queen's Road Cemetery. So thank you for doing that. On that note, I'd like to propose the minutes for Ministers for Tourism Committee held on the 12th of December 2024, page numbers 115 to 119, minutes number 221 to 233. And then secondly, minutes in the Tourism Committee held on the 9th of January 2025, page numbers 128 to 129, minute numbers 266 to 269. The second, please.
I'm happy to second it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody have any comments? All those in favour? Thank you very much, Councillor Peacock. And last but not least, is finance and general purposes, Councillor Scratch.
The Chair. Right, I'd like to propose the minutes for the Finance and General Purposes Committee meeting held on the 16th of December 2024, page numbers 120 to 123, minutes 234 to 253, and the meeting held on the 9th of January 2025, page numbers 132 to 134, minutes 274 to 278. Please may I have a second?
A second. Does anybody have any comments with regards to those minutes, please? No? All those in favour of approval? Thank you very much. Thank you, Councillor Scratch. Item number 8 is to review and adopt several new standing orders. We've got a scheme of delegation, the general standing orders, and financial regulation and code of conduct. The council reviews these documents annually and adopts any changes based on best practice, legislative change or view of the council. The proposed standing orders that you were all sent are based on the 2022 model version, and the financial regulations are based on the 2024 model version. The order of items is slightly changed to keep them aligned with the model versions. I would also just very much like to propose a small change to the standing orders. Item 3 of those orders, it's meetings generally, the items to be amended to the following. Members of the public may make representations, answer questions or clarification, and give evidence at a meeting which they are entitled to attend in respect to the business on the agenda. And any question must be submitted to the town clerk in advance of the meeting, referencing the agenda item that it was related to. So there are a couple of other items that were slightly, or shall I actually get through that first? I'd like to propose that change. Can I have a second? Thanks. Does anybody have any questions with regards to that? Councillor Gibson?
Could you just repeat if you said it, because I must have missed it? How far in advance of the meeting does the questioner have to present their question?
I think we would be looking at 24 hours.
Can we be certain, please?
We'll get clarification. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Good question. Thank you very much. Anybody else? So we have a vote, to approve. All those in favour of approval of that? No, thank you very much. Also, I'd like everyone to know that on item 5.14, which is page 6 of the financial regulations, it should say £15,000 for the emergency spend and not £10,000. To mirror this item, also item 4.1.15 of the scheme of delegation, which is on page 3, should also say £15,000 for emergency spend and not £10,000. The scheme of delegation lays out the duties and powers of the council and senior officers in detail to make reference to this easier. I'd just like everybody to note that change, please.
Thank you.
The code of conduct is unchanged for everybody's reference. So do you want me to propose that instead of not?
Yes. Because we're having
Yeah, fine. Sorry, beg your pardon. I would like to propose that we accept those changes in the financial regulations and the scheme of delegation from to 50,000 from 10,000. You can have a second. Does anybody have any questions?
It's to adopt.
Not on.
as being effective from today.
I'll just approve that one first, and then I'll do that as the last one. So we have proposal for approval of those changes. Can I have is everyone approving that? Yeah. Thank you. Code of conduct doesn't change, as I've said. And last but not least, I propose that we accept the adoption of the scheme, the new scheme of delegation, standing orders, financial regulations, and code of conduct on block. Can I have a second?
That's secondary, I'm putting my hand up to say something.
Does anybody have any comments? Councillor Gibson.
Could the Mayor clarify the situation with regard to the publication of members' addresses on the council website? Currently they're redacted, but I understand that they are likely to be published in full in the future. And can you advise councillors whether or not they are able to write in and say that they do not want their details and home addresses published?
I'm sure we can do that. So can I ask that question to you, see if there's anything you can, or we can come back to Councillor Gibson in due course.
Yes. Obviously, it's not an agenda item, the question that you've raised.
It's in the, but it is in the.
In the standing orders.
If it's not in the standing orders, it's in the, whether it is the councillor interests.
Okay, the monitoring officer recommendation, I do know from the previous permanent monitoring officer, whose name escapes me, was that all addresses should be published unless there was a compelling reason for not publishing it. I know that our previous town clerk took a decision to remove all addresses from the website, and that I know that she's also willing to retain that position where she's gone to. What we can do is clarify again the position with the new monitoring officer once they start, and put forward a case for why we will not do that. I don't know, what is the current state for Mid Sussex and West Sussex? Do you know? They currently do. Mid Sussex were not publishing addresses, I believe, historically, but I don't know what they're currently doing.
The situation, as I understand it, is that there is, for county councils, there's a standing directive that all county council addresses should not be published. Mid Sussex is publishing addresses, but Mid Sussex councillors can request that the council offices are used as their address.
Yes.
And that might well be a solution for those of us, and I, would wish not my address not to be into the public domain.
I think there is another conversation to be had with Mid Sussex regarding this.
Thank you.
Which I can do.
Thank you for your forbearance, Mr. Mayor. It's certainly, I believe that it's an important.
No, it is. Thank you. I appreciate it. We can still vote on this if subject to
yes. Yes. It doesn't change our existing website.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so all those in favour of adoption of those 4 items? Thank you very much. Item number 9 is to approve the dates of the council meetings for the civic year 2025-26. The Finance and General Purposes Committee approved the dates of the committee meetings for 2025-26 at their meeting in December 2024. The list was attached to the agenda pack showing all meeting dates, and councillors are asked to ensure that these dates are added to their diaries to ensure maximum attendance at the meetings, noting obviously that there has been some slight change in some of the meeting timings and dates. Council are asked to approve the following dates. I'll run through them and times for the 2025-26 before council to meet. Annual council Tuesday 13 May at 7 p.m. Special council Tuesday 24 June 7:45. Council Tuesday 1st of July at 7:45. 14 October at 7:45. 27th of January 2026 at 7, and 7th of April at 7:45. Can I have a second for that? Thank you, Councillor Darcy. Does anybody have any comments with regards to those dates? Councillor Carr.
Just a query as to why the difference in times.
there was, it follows a joining of meetings. So 7:45 follows a planning meeting set up. It's a more efficient way from staffing meetings, and so which I believe was emailed out to you. Do you need a recap on that?
Thanks, Can I just clarify? There's a meeting, the 7:45 one, just following that point. 7:45 ones are where there was a previous meeting at 7:00. If the previous meeting finishes early, we still stick with 7:45, so that there's no use.
Yes. What we can do is, if we know in advance that the planning meeting is going to be particularly light on applications, and we believe that the meeting will not take 45 minutes, we could determine that when we issue the agenda and bring the meeting time forward slightly to allow that. So we will watch for that as we plan our agendas. Otherwise, we'll have refreshments available.
So we have a vote for approval. Can I ask for all those in favour, please? Thank you very much. Item number 10 is consideration of recommendations from Finance and General Purposes Committee to formally resolve the 2025-2026 financial year. There are 2 points to this: that the 2025-26 draft budget be approved by council to become the town council's budget for that financial year. And that also item B is that the town council be requested to approve an actual precept for 2025-26 financial year of £1,305,042. This will represent an annual Bandy Council tax at a cost of £108.24, based on the known tax base of 12,057.4. I would like to propose we approve the budget for 2025-26 on the 2nd. I think that's the person. Does anybody have any questions or queries? That's about it.
Thank you, Tim. I would like to thank the officers and other councillors who've been involved in the process. It's been a very open discussion to date. And essentially, we will be supporting the budget with one question hanging over it, I suppose. One of the adjustments that were made during the process of getting from the original draft to where we are now involved assuming that the income that the town council will receive from its lettings will somehow increase sufficient to drop the council tax requirement by 1 percentage point. It'd be very nice if that income comes in, and I certainly hope it does come in. I'm just very wary about setting a budget based on an aspiration than an initial genuine prediction of what the income is likely to be. I say that having gone through the experience of, in a far more extreme way, at Mid Sussex District Council some 20 years ago, when an assumed profit from the event of £30,000 became a loss of somewhere between £250,000 and £250,000. So making assumptions over profit and income is something I'm wary of, and I hope that the figures are right, but I would feel more comfortable if it was a potential windfall increase rather than sort of being relied on. So I say we'll certainly support.
Yes, I'm happy to come back on that. Thank you, Councillor. I understand your point of view, and I know in meetings we have mentioned it, and it was mentioned and has been discussed a lot. we worked hard on it, and real consideration was made even after we'd had our meeting. And I met with Mr. Chambers and obviously with Miss Haynes, the town clerk, and we felt that we would not have put it forward if it wasn't something that was doable. So we don't feel that it is beyond, like, it's not an over aspirational figure that we put in to just make the budget work. It really isn't that. It is a properly thought out process that was taking place. And I can tell you now, it would have not got past anybody, myself or Mr. Chambers or Ms. Haynes, if we hadn't fully considered that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Strand. Can I ask Mr. Chambers a quick question with regards to that point? I don't want to labour it too much, but Dan, have we got forward bookings in terms of income from our, rooms and things that we hire and Sunnyside Barn and things to actually be able to forecast that?
We do, yeah. We've got bookings in the system already going as far forward now as beginning of summer 2027. And the bookings that we have in advance are relatively consistent with what they've been in previous years at this point in time.
Thank you. That's all I've got. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tamara. Just say I was at the Cats with Cats Barnet at that sorry tail road, but that was partly because the Cats took on a show and underwrote the cost itself, and the cost of it were over 300,000, and they didn't foresee a rainy day where ticket sales might be very, very less than that. But we're not in that situation. We are just we've got to have facilities. We're not spending before we've received the so I'm very comfortable.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Darcy. So we have a motion for approval on the budget for 2025-26. All those in favour, please. Thank you very much. Item number 11 is the financial risk register. The council's approval of the financial risk register is an annual audit requirement. The impact rating on the following item has been amended. Risk number 18 has been regraded from amber to green, as the likelihood of the risk has been reduced from medium to low. Further mitigating actions on the following item have been updated as well, which is risk number 22 has been updated to reflect the imminent health and safety visit to East Court. I would like to approve those amendments. Can I have a second? Thank you, Councillor Darcy. Does anybody have any questions?
Comments?
Yes, please.
Again, actually, my thanks go to Mr. Chambers, who's worked really hard on the financial side of it and to ensure that we are in a really good place. And he works really hard towards that. So as a team, the officers have just a superb job. So I would like to just thank them.
I second that. Thank you very much. So all those in favour of approving the financial risk register, please. Thank you very much. Okay. Item number 12 is to review and adopt the freedom of the parish policy, which was attached as an appendix, which I think is something that we've needed, and now it's been formalised. So thank you to Town Clerk for putting that together for us. I won't read what it says. Everyone's had a chance to read it themselves. I would like to approve that we adopt the new policy. Can I have a second? Does anybody have any questions? No. All those in favour of adopting that policy? Item number 13 is the review of the committee priorities for inclusion in the East Grinstead Town Council 2025-27 business plan. The purpose of it really is to review and prioritise our key priorities identified by each committee for inclusion in an overall business plan for the 25-27 planning period. The background of that is as part of a strategic planning process for the 2025-27 period. It's essential to align committee priorities to create a business plan for the town. And taking the core priorities identified by the committee, these need to be reviewed and prioritised against one another to develop a comprehensive business plan to guide East Grinstead Town Council decisions and initiatives over the next 3 years. Council are asked to review the committee priorities and initiative identified. We're going to align those priorities with the broader goals of East West Town Council, creating a strategic plan for the remainder of the council's term in office. We're looking to get a draft for that business plan for discussion and final approval. I'm not sure when we're looking at that. Is there a timeline on that?
As soon as possible. I mean, if you are happy in agreement today, then that could be it.
Okay.
If you're not, then we can bring it to a future meeting as well.
Thank you. One slight addition to that, the environment and sustainable travel priorities were mentioned. Really, obviously, you won't be too surprised when I say this, but active travel and the LC work as well included in that. So we do need to align with those items too. So I would like to approve that we go ahead with that business plan. Can I have a second? Okay, Councillor Belson. Does anybody have any comments or thoughts? Councillor Bond.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wondered whether with planning, given the sizable sums of Section 106 contributions being held by Mid Sussex, and should we say slightly slow use of those funds, and given the appointment at district of a Section 106 officer, it might be appropriate just to add that into the planning section in relation to overseeing and, should we say, corralling district in order to spend the money wisely and timely. I think is a key point here at East Grinstead. And secondly, licence applications, fine to have it there, but in my time on council, we always delegated decisions, so happy for it to be there, but I'm not sure it's a planning priority.
Which one, sorry?
The licensing
Yeah.
applications. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bond. Yes, just in relation to that, I must also thank Councillor Bond for his work. There is a spreadsheet that he's put together for Town Council that was a bit of a mess from Mid Sussex District Council, and he collated it and made it actually readable. So we know exactly where the funds are and what they're allocated to. So it's a real help. But I would also like to add, I think it would be very good for us as Town Council to, as soon as that position is filled with us, to get them in. As well. Is that what you have? Yeah. I thought it would be, but it's on record now. Councillor Barnett.
Yes, it's difficult to know where to put it because it's timing is a problem, but clearly over the next couple of years we will have to look at threats and opportunities associated with the government's devolution agenda. So that will clearly factor in what we do. It's difficult, of course, to put there now, when and where, but it is something that's going to have to feature in it somehow.
Yes, thank you very much. Just further point on that, have been in communication with the leader of the council and Town Clerk with regards to moving that forward. And I know that Sam is on the ball on that one already, so we should be able to move reasonably quickly. Does anybody else?
So apologies, I've got a page missing, so I just want to make sure that we capture something that straddles between public services and amenities and tourism, and that is really the youth work and support. I know we've talked about starting the youth group this year, which has gone incredibly well, and we've wanted to continue to look at how that could evolve, how we can service the needs of different age groups within our youth going forward. So I'd like that included in our plan. Thank you.
So would you see that as going under amenities and tourism, or it's
I think we talk about it within amenities and tourism because there's some budget association. Yeah.
I'll add it in there. If I can just go back to the devolution, I would perhaps recommend that went under FMGT at this time, if that's acceptable.
Yes.
Yes.
That's fine. Councillor Dawson.
Thank you very much, Cameron. I totally agree with the comments on the good dialogue between ourselves and Mid Sussex on Section 106 agreements. It's only to say, because I think sometimes the public don't quite appreciate the sort of legalities and complexities of this. So I know Mid-Sussex have always had a Section 106 officer. Obviously, there's a new one, and it's important to have a good dialogue with them. But one of the problems, and it's great that we have those conversations to make sure that it's going where we as a town council are closest to it feel that the need is in our communities. It's just sometimes I know that the agreement, the 106 is agreed at the start of the process and isn't paid until completion of the development, and that can be many years gap, and then sometimes that means that it's not where you would have chosen at that time, but you're going back to the original agreement. So I think it's frustrating for all councils involved sometimes, but if there is any way, and I think it doesn't feel looking at this, if there's any way of potentially being able to be as flexible as possible with 106, as long as it's within our sort of priority list at that time, and not having to get ourselves too fixed at that early stage, that would be really appreciated, I think, in our conversations. Thank you.
I think one thing we can try and do is be less specific about projects. So, for example, you might want to fund a new community building rather than saying, I would like to, for example, replace this building. You would just say, can we have it allocated to community facilities? That's the best, in my experience, way of trying to reduce the risk of the issue that you raised, which is a very real one. Thank you. Also, just one final thing that normally, as you are aware, I've just emailed asking for S106 suggestions for the current police station. We are normally given a very short turnaround time within which to nominate where we would like to see funds go. So that's quite frustrating as well. And we normally only have a couple of weeks to come up with a proposal and submit it, and then you're held to it for many years to come. So yeah.
Thank you very much for those comments, everybody. There's a vote for a motion for approval on those. And before I do that, I just want to thank everybody for their input to that as well, to the information that's passed on to town. All those in favour, please. Thank you very much. Okay, that brings us to the end of the meeting. The date of the meeting for town council, next town council, is the Monday, the 7th of April, everybody. And look forward to seeing everybody there. Thank you very much, and I'll have to close the meeting at 7:52.